there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about the latest update about Alliance War Season 38, and it caused my poor BG officer White Mummy rage like no tomorrow. It was one of the very few times that I genuinely saw him lose his temper, because he puts in a great deal of effort and work in Alliance War. He's the main planner for my battle group, and I believe he helps out other battle groups as well. And this kind of flips everything on the nose. So let's back up a bit, and then we're gonna get the rest of the stuff. So in off-season, the new defensive and offensive tactics were bugged. The ones that had to do all about glancing and debuff detoxing and things like that. And I was aware of that, and I was following it closely, because obviously we all expected for the fix to go live when the update is out. Little did we know that throughout this AW off-season, our team has been working hard attempting to bring Alliance War tactics into appropriate working order. This is a persistent yet tricky bug that is proving to be difficult to resolve. As a result, to ensure a more smooth launch and execution of Season 38, we will be reverting to Season 37 tactics for both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Adjustments have been made on the official post here. However, no in-game message has been sent, so there are still, I bet, quite a lot of people absolutely unaware about this. We will continue to work to resolve these issues in a timely manner. Well, that is false and oxymoronic, because timely manner would have been before start of the season. So again, these are pointless platitudes. Nothing that they do, if they fix it 2 wars in, it's not timely manner anymore, because it already has caused problems. Right. So let's start with the obvious things. Virtually every high-tier alliance has a set of people. These people are called officers, who are in charge of Alliance Wars planning, and they put in a ton of work. Not just for individual wars, but also during off-season, trying to test out the new tactics, trying to set together a defense, rearrange defense, as the rosters and people often change in off-season. And that does take a ton of work from these officers, first things first. And the second thing is, it also requires a significant investment of your rank up resources to prepare for these seasons when you take war seriously. A lot of people who do not play high tier Alliance War and virtually never rank for Alliance War defense specifically, or at the very least not for specific defensive tactics, likely will not quite get this point. And this is a point that affects, a relatively small amount of competitive, relatively small amount of overall player base, but it does affect virtually all of the competitive Alliance War players. And that is that you end up ranking champions for the upcoming seasons. Like I did it myself. I ranked up Mr. Fantastic and other champions specifically because they were either going to be very good for the defensive tactic or the offensive tactic. And we are prepping for, potential hurdles and roadblocks. And last 2 or 3 of my rank 4s over the course of last month were already in anticipation of this season come, because we already knew for over a month what defensive tactic in Season 38 is going to be well before Season 38 announcement. Season 38 announcement just kind of confirmed it and solidified. So obviously this causes a lot of frustration, not just for the officers, but also for the people who ranked up champions specifically for Alliance War that they otherwise wouldn't have, or at the very least that they otherwise wouldn't have ranked up yet, and they would have preferred to rank up something for Battlegrounds, or something for Prestige, or something for Fun, or something for the current Alliance War. So this obviously throws the entire alliance for a loop, because now officers need to redo all of the defense based on whatever changes they have had in the season. They need to take in consideration which of these new extra rank ups can potentially be used, cannot be used. And it is just, I think, absolutely inconsiderate from Kabam to be unable to follow through what they have announced. Because it's not like we randomly figured out that this is going to be the tactic and we're going to act on our own. Kabam made a post, created an announcement, and we are meant to follow that. This situation is happening more and more recently as well, because this is not the first time they do this with Alliance War to begin with. And then we also all remember the Act 8.1 problem, where they delayed it by a week, and that caused a huge uproar based on the expiring resources, refills, revives that people have prepared or purchased, specifically based on what Kabam had officially announced. And then they're just kind of like, oh, you know what, it's a tricky bug, we can't fix it. And there is no easy way out of this, obviously. There could have been an alternative solution of potentially delaying Alliance War season and sending out some sort of compensation, or Kabam just tries to kind of like brush this off as like, oh, we're still going to use the old tactics. And again, do not think that something like this, for instance, would warrant some sort of compensation as a gesture of, you know, appreciation to players for the inconvenience that they caused because they are unable to follow through on their announcement and debug the tactics that they themselves created. For many of you, obviously, this will not be a major issue, and I'm fully aware of that. On a personal level, I am not that bothered, but it was absolutely devastating to watch my Alliance leaders, my Alliance officers, absolutely dismay, kind of like panic on this announcement, and effectively get back to their Excel spreadsheets, get back to going through everybody's roster, redoing the defense because, you know, people have changed and stuff like that. And in our Alliance, obviously, we have like White Mummy, who always creates these graphics for all the players and everything else, and it does take a lot of work. And I really feel for anybody that's involved in Alliance War planning because of this. And what's kind of worse about it is, again, this post is just kind of extremely dry as a matter of fact, as this is normal thing. And it isn't. It is causing tremendous amount of extra work that a whole bunch of people that are most dedicated. And here is the difference, because there are issues that affect a large portion of player base, obviously, and they are extremely important. But there are some specific issues that affect the most dedicated players, the players that hold the communities together, the competitive alliance scene together. And there are some issues like this that affect them tremendously more than many people have ever been affected by these bugs. Because if you have to spend another 6, 7, 8 hours on a day's notice to prepare your team for a competitive season in Alliance Wars, that basically kind of like immediately throws your plans out of the window, and you just, you know, need to get back to that grind. And the worst thing about it is that no matter what Kabam did here, they still had the opportunity to convey it in kind of compassionate manner, to have some humility, apologize properly that, you know, they are unable to follow through, and yeah, offer some sort of olive branch to the players. Just as a gesture of goodwill. I'm not talking about, you know, tier 6 catalyst or anything of the sort, but, you know, here's some loyalty, here's some alliance items so that you might end up, you know, using now, or something like that. They could have done it very easily, and also making sure that everybody is informed about this, because they just make this small post on forums and now expect for everybody to be aware that the next war in the season, you know, will have different defensive tactic that they had in off-season. So where I'm getting at is this type of communication just isn't good enough. There is, you know, hardly any warning, like the season starts in 2 days. There is no kind of like humility, there is no goodwill in between this post. It's just, we will continue to resolve these issues in a timely manner. That's bullshit by definition. If you see that, you know, train is about to crash and you are holding the brake to stop the train, then after the train has crashed into the building and then you hit the break, it's not in a timely manner. And that is what evidently is going to happen right now. Because they had their chance to resolve this in a timely manner during off-season. That I would consider a timely manner. Slightly inconvenient that players can't test the new tactics out properly, but still, at the very least, season would be fine. Anything past War 1 of Season 38 is not a timely manner anymore. You have failed to do it in timely manner, and then they just kind of like randomly throw it in as to even infuriate summoners. And I'm not, again, wanting to harp on people working at Kabam. I understand that bugs happen. You know, there are times when you're just unable to meet a deadline, but I'm harping about how you go about it. Because right now it's just like, oh yeah, you know what? The thing that I needed to work, and you said, you know, specifically, it's going to start on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm going to try my best to do it as soon as after the Tuesday, but I'm not going to meet the deadline. So, you know, just use the old crap that we have lying around. It's, again, impossible for me to imagine myself being able to present myself like that in any working environment. Like, if I had committed to do a job with a specific deadline and I'm unable to meet it, I'd definitely, you know, feel remorse for it. I'd feel bad for it. Things happen. Yes, I would try to be as open and explain exactly why it happened and what we can do to kind of like lessen the issue here or the burden or the impact or whatever. But there's none of that. There's just like, we didn't fix our bugs in time, so you guys have to abandon everything that you set up for the next season and use the old tactics. We're going to continue working on these in timely manner. It's not timely manner, and it's not okay. Let me know what you guys think about all this situation, and special shout out to White Mummy. Everything's gonna be okay, man. Just hang in there. Oh, he's not happy. And if you know him specifically, that makes it even funnier, because he's typically like the kindest, most chill person ever, that's level-headed, and, you know, very kind of like nice and helpful. But about this thing, he's just ruthless. So I'm gonna go and poke White Mummy a bit more. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the